want to talk to you about consistency from a lens of not necessarily discipline and habits and practices that will allow you to be consistent in your business, but I really want to talk about some things that can be happening in the background that could be impacting your consistency, and also impacting the consistency in how you show up online. So you may have seen the title of this and you may be thinking, oh, I'm going to teach you how to post every day online and how to always be present. But I also want you to think about, how can I show up not only all the time, but how can I show up in the same way all the time? How can I have consistency with my messaging, with my posts, with my content, so that I'm creating a relationship with my tribe, with my followers that is authentic and helps them to learn a little bit more about my business and what I can do. So if you have watched me before or listened to me before, then you know that I tend to talk in steps. So if you are organizing your notes, I have 4 bullet points here for you, and we're going to pray together that I can read my own handwriting, as I was writing in a hurry with passion. Okay, so one of the first things that I feel can cause issues with consistency and how you show up online is there's some dissonance happening in your mind. And what this dissonance can be caused by is a disconnection from what you're actually doing right now in your business and what you want to do in your business. Here's a really good example. Let's say you are a career coach and your goal is to coach, mid-level, executive level career professionals on elevating and growing in their brand. However, for some reason, you're only really writing resumes right now, and you're only advertising resumes right now, and you've told yourself that this is the money maker, right? This is what's bringing in revenue, this is what's bringing in clients, but it's not what you really want to do. It's not what makes you happy. It's not what fuels you. And you know this from a conscious level, but from a subconscious level, you keep doing the thing that you don't want to do. And even though this thing is generating money, if you're not money driven, that's not going to fuel you. And again, that can cause inconsistency with how you are showing up online, if you are showing up online, and how you're actually positioning yourself. And I'm so intrigued by this because I have consultations every week with women, and it's so interesting to hear them talk about what they're doing now versus the vision. And I'm always intrigued to know, well, what's stopping you from going forward after this vision? And a lot of times what's stopping that person is really in their head. It's really some imposter syndrome that's happening there. There's a lack of confidence that's happening there. There's a lack of clarity on what that next step truly looks like in terms of output, in terms of marketing, in terms of communication. There isn't any simplicity around what that new niche will look like, and the imposter syndrome can be so heavy and so suffocating that it's like the astounding thing, and it's kind of blocking and covering up, right, those other issues. And so that's what leads you to doing misdiagnosis on your business, and that's when you start to think that the problem is you, or the problem is Instagram, versus really thinking about the true problem of, I need to get clarity on what this vision is, and then I need to hone in on it and create that path, which is why in my programs, the very first thing we talk about is personal assessments and finding your niche, figuring out who you want to help, what problem you want to help them solve, and then from there going into the messaging before we even think about what that packaging of the new service piece looks like, okay? So if that's you, I want you to do some meditation on this and really think about, am I having dissonance around what I'm doing versus what I want to do, what I feel like I should be doing, what I feel like I'm called to do? And if you do feel like you're having that, really start to ask questions, right? And don't ask leading questions where you're like kind of filling in a gap, but really ask questions around, why am I not doing this thing? Why do I have doubt around this? Why do I feel like, this isn't my calling, even though it actually is, even though I'm equipped and I have the skills, I have the strengths, I have the talent, I have the expertise, I have the experience to do this? Why am I struggling with where I'm actually supposed to be showing up in life? The second thing that could potentially be causing you to show up inconsistently online is that you may be in a space of playing small, and you may be in a space of shrinking back the blessings and abundance that you have to share. And that is another thing that really connects to mindset. So when you're playing small, that already causes inconsistencies, right? So one thing I think about is, in my Facebook group, which if you're not in my Facebook group, you should join us. It's called the Power Circle, Mastering Your Masters with Kashira. It's linked in my Instagram bio, and wherever you're listening to this and consuming this, there's links for the Facebook group somewhere. But I remember asking for people in my group who have a service, how many of you have a service that's over $1,000? And I was so intrigued by the responses of people who felt like, I can't have a service, right? I can't have a service that's over $1,000. I can't have a service that's the premium price tag. I can't without any true meat and potatoes behind that. I can't. There's no true reason why. And that's just in the space of playing small. And especially if you come from a corporate background, working background, or maybe you're in a situation where you were underpaid and they would give you that little 2% raise every year. Your conception of money, value, and worth may be skewed because of those past experiences. And so now it's time to do some Conquering Your Money Mindset work, which is an ebook I do include in my programs, and really start to shift why you feel like you are not worth this, why you feel like your value and your strengths and your skills don't deserve this equal exchange of energy, because money is going to be energy, right? And you're going to extend energy to your clients and helping them, and they extend energy in the form of their payments, right? And so thinking about, why are you playing small? Why do you feel like, low cost, cheap things are the only way that you can have a business? Why do you feel like digital downloads is the only way? Why do you feel like, one-off masterclasses is the only way? Why do you feel like you can only put out a book? Why do you feel like you can only charge $100 for a whole hour of your time, right? Like, where does that come from? Why are you playing small? And that you're just playing small in the back of your head, but again, that imposter syndrome is like in a way, and it's saying, no, that you're supposed to be here, right? And all of this dissonance that's happening really just causes that inconsistency, because then you start to look at your goals and things that you want to do, and you're like, the business model I have doesn't really support this, but I don't feel like I can change it because I don't really believe in myself and in my skills and my abilities. I don't believe that I have, value of a higher price point. And then it's like there's just this whole mess that happens, right? So again, in my mastermind program, part of the pre-work was mindset work, right? Recognizing that mindset work is a continuing and evolving process, but getting started on it, because I know that in my mastermind, when I tell you that, in order to be in my program, you have to agree to committing a service that's over $1,000 in price point, and even then, $1,000 is low, but it's a good milestone to start with, right? Like, I need you to be fully committed and not self-sabotage us through the launch process along the way. If you've listened to me talk about mindset before, I told you, it doesn't matter if I give you the exact steps and the exact blueprint and even the exact thing to say, on social media to get clients. If you don't truly believe that you are worth this and that you're valued at this, you are going to sabotage it. You're going to deliver it with energy that is vibrating way low, super low frequencies, that doubt is going to show up, and people aren't going to believe your messaging, and they're not going to have confidence in you. And one thing I can tell you as a coach for 5+ years now, 6 years now, I gotta stop saying 5 because it's a new decade. But one thing I can tell you as a coach for 6 years, people are not going to give you any amount of money if you sound insecure. If you don't sound like you're comfortable in the results that you're saying that you can deliver, if you're not comfortable in the frameworks that you say you can teach, or the deliverables. Like, if I'm hiring someone to design a website and they want, $2,000 for it, and they sound like they aren't sure if they can actually build the site for me, or they aren't sure if they can really portray my brand accurately, and they aren't sure if they can install these plugins, then it's like, I'm not giving that person my money. Would you?